Hi, this is Tutor Nick P, and this is noun phrase 204. The noun phrase today is due diligence. Okay, let's take a look at the note here. If someone does his or her due diligence, or is advised to do one's due diligence, he or she must take a reasonable amount of care or be careful enough, especially before buying something. Taking part in some activity, etc. Okay. It is also used as a law term to suggest that a buyer must take a reasonable amount of care in evaluating, asking questions, researching a company or seller before making a purchase. Okay, let's continue. One meaning of diligence, by itself, is to be paying proper attention to a risk. So this is why we say due diligence. Due as an adjective can also mean according to the usual standards or rules. So you have to do your due diligence. Let's continue. The origin of this term dates back to 1933. It came out of a U.S. Securities Act of 1933. In the Act, it refers to a reasonable investigation. Yes. The Act supports a law against dealers who have accusations against them for providing inadequate, not good enough, information in regard to buying property or securities to investors. Securities, in this case, refers to documents showing that you own shares of a company. Yeah, years ago, especially like in the 1930s, but I can even remember in the 1970s or something, when you bought a stock, they actually gave you a document. Nowadays, you usually don't get that, which is a little bit more suspicious, especially when you trade online. You don't actually get that piece of paper. You don't get that document anymore. But at the time it was, so that's what this securities was. Okay, anyway, let's look at 4 examples here of how we use due diligence. Before investing in any stock, an investor is advised to do his own due diligence and research all the information first. Yeah, that's why a lot of people online are very careful if they say they like something. They say, yeah, but you got to do your own due diligence, Don't blame me if you buy something and it ends up losing money or something like that. Number 2, you need to do your due diligence by informing the credit card company as soon as possible if you realize your credit cards are missing. Yeah, so that's your responsibility to do that. So, don't just let a week go by or 10 days go by. You got to contact them right away. If you do it within a certain period of time, they'll probably cover it for you. All right, number 3 here. Before hiring a stranger to work in a nursery school, that school should do its due diligence and do a background check on that person. Make sure that person's not some sort of a crazy person or, maybe they have some sort of a criminal record or anything like that. All right, number 4 here. If you buy something from someone who does not have listed, store policies, so like, for example, if you bought something from a street vendor, for example, it is the customer's responsibility to do due diligence and ask questions. If you don't ask the questions, then, you're not happy about something. If you wanted to return it and they don't accept it, well, there's nothing you could do about it because you didn't do your due diligence first. You're supposed to ask those questions. Now, of course, if there's stores, they have listed policies, then that store is responsible for those policies that are written on the wall. But if there's nothing listed and you don't ask, then then that's kind of your own fault for not doing your own due diligence. Okay, anyway, I hope you got it. I hope it's clear. I hope it's informative. Thank you for your time. Bye-bye.